right? The next one program which we are going to look upon is again a journal program for you. Okay, that is using selection sort. Now you may have a question. I don't know how many of you are having question. Sir, when there is a particular concept, a method or a technique that sorts the element, why do we require others? Now this is, I think, fourth one, right? Fourth type of sorting, right? What are the three sorting techniques which we have covered so far? Can anyone name it? Bubble sort, insertion sort, merge sort, right? Now, if you merge sort, it merges, as name suggests, it merges what? Two different set of data structures, right? And both the data structures, the element should be already in ascending sort, then it merges them together and makes it a single array. If you have a two different arrays, it merges together, gives you an array wherein the numbers are stored from smallest to the biggest, right? If you look into the other two, the bubble sort and the insertion sort, already we have the technique, then why do we require the one more here, right? The thing is because the time taken by one particular sort in order to place the elements from smallest to the largest, it may be different. Time in the sense not how we calculate, the time with respect to the computer. When the program is executed, if the time calculation is done depending upon certain techniques again, which you are going to study in your fourth semester as part of design and analysis of algorithms. Okay, there will come a better picture how the different programs works differently, how the complexity, basically we take the proper technical word as a complexity. Complexity means how much time a particular program is required in order to execute. How much space is required? Space in the sense not a physical space. The space required to store the values in the computer memory. How much space is required by the RAM to execute that particular program? All the things matters, right? One particular method might be different than the other method, wherein it might be advantageous that it might come you in a lesser time. One might take a less amount of space, right? Keeping all these things in mind, different approaches or different methods of the techniques have been designed. So those techniques we are studying as part of sorting. The first two we have studied, that is bubble sort and the insertion. The fourth one is again something called as a selection sort. Okay. Now, what I will do is that the first part of the code is pretty much simple. You need not to worry about that, wherein we are declaring the variables, reading those particular variables. Okay. I assume that these lines are understood by you. Does anybody require me to explain those things one by one, statement by statement? Do you want me to explain those lines, the highlighted one? No. Let us focus upon these lines of a code, which will help us in sorting the elements. Okay. As a standard method, again, what I'm doing is that I'm going to put a tabular format. The tabular format is best approach for tracing the program when we have multiple loops involved. Multiple loops means nested loops. Now you can see there is one outer for loop, then there is an inner for loop, then again there are certain conditions, right? The tracing can be made very much easy, a simplified way, if we can put up a tabular content like this. Correct? Now, can anyone tell me why these color highlight different colors are used here? If anybody has watched my videos, why different colored content is put up there? Can anyone? Yes, Shweta. Different loops are there. It's very good. Now, if you can look at the code here, now we have one outer for loop, right? Outer for loop is this one. This is initialization condition. If this condition is true, then it will get inside this. Inside here, now min is equals to I is one of the statement for this particular outer for loop. Then it has its own inner for loop here, right? Tracing will vary depending upon which particular loop it is, whether it is a inner for loop or a outer for loop. I hope you can understand the inner for loop and outer for loop. The one which is outside is called as inner for loop, isn't it? Outer for loop. The one which is placed inside another loop, inner for loop, right? For that reason, now I equal to 0, I less than n, those are in one particular color. That will help you to trace the program properly. Okay. Now, if this particular condition is true, the one which is in the second column, if this is true, where will the control goes to? Its inner for loop. That means this min equal to I will get executed. Correct? Now, after that, if you look into the code, now we have one more inner for loop here. That is inner for loop. Again, here it has its own initialization condition. And if this condition is true, then it will enter into its loop, that is its body, right? To represent that, I have taken this particular color contrast so that it will be understood by you. Means this is the inner for loop initialization. This is the condition. If this condition is true, then it will enter inside. Right? Here you might see different color again because there is again a if condition here. If this statement is true, then this will be executed. That's why this A of min greater than A of j is put here. If this is true, then this statement will get executed. Now, after that means after these statements are executed, where will the control goes back to? Does it go to the if statement, or will it come back to the j plus plus, or it will go to I plus plus, j plus plus, right? So for tracing, now look at here, these two and these colors are same, so that it helps you to trace the programs properly. You can put arrow marks like, okay, if this is true, for example, you can put arrow marks. If this condition is true, the arrow mark is this, right? False, go to the next. Like that also you can do. Okay. Then after j plus plus is done, again control goes back to where? After j plus plus statement is executed, where will the control go back to? It goes to condition validation, isn't it? After j plus plus is done, where it will go? How does the for loop works? First is what? Initialization, then condition, then if condition is true, it will enter into its body, execute all the statements. After executing its body, increment or decrement, that is counter. After counter is done, where will it go? Again condition. I think you have forgotten the for loop, working of a for loop. Initialization, condition, its body, come back and then look for the counter, that is either increment or decrement. After that, go back to the condition. If condition is true, execute its body, then come back to the counter, look for condition. If condition is false, skip all the body, go to the next. Correct? Now that means after j plus plus, it will go back to j less than n. So here after j plus plus, it goes to j less than n, then the condition is violated, then it is processed further. Now assume that if this while condition j less than n, if it is false, right? If this condition is false, where will the control go to next? If statement, this particular, right? This statement is under the outer for loop, so this statement will be executed. Again here, if this is true, these statements are executed. Can anyone tell me what these three lines are for swapping? It just interchanges two values, right? Now, after this is done, whether it is this if condition, whether it is a true or a false, after that, where the control will go back to? I plus plus. It goes back to I plus. After I plus plus, condition I less than. Since if the condition becomes true, then it repeats everything. Correct? Now, what Based upon this particular code, I have plotted the tabular format. Okay. Now, on this side, what I have done is that I have taken certain numbers: 50, 40, 30, 10, and 20. So what is n value here? What is n value? N means what? Number of elements in the array. How many numbers are there? 5 numbers. So n value is 5. And what are these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Index. Okay. Now, let us start with our tracing here. So first time, outer for loop I equal to 0. Initialization is done. Now I type 0 here. This 0 means what? Value of I at present in this iteration is 0. Then condition, that is 0 less than n. N is 5. Now is this true or false? True. Since it is true, it will enter into its body. That is minimum, that is min equal to I will take place. Now what will be the min value now? I value. So I is 0, so min is 0. Right? Now the next statement is inner for loop. Initialization. J equals to I plus 1. So what will be J value? 1. I is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. So J becomes now 1. Okay. Then J less than n. J is 1, 1 less than 5. True or false? True. Now inner for loop body will exist. First statement is if statement. That is again condition. Right? Condition says what? A of min. What is min value? 0. A of min means A of 0 is what? A of 0 means at 0th index, what value is there? 50 is there. So is this 50 greater than A of j? J is what? 1. A of 1 is what? 40. So is 50 greater than 40? True. It is true. Since this condition is true, it will enter into its block. What it says? Update min equal to j. Now, what will be the min value? Whatever j contains, what is j value? 1. So now min is get updated as 1. Before that it was 0, but now it is updated as 1. Okay. After that, j plus plus. That is 1 plus plus. So now after this, where should I go? Which particular cell I should? J less than n. Very good. Now I should go to the condition validation again. Now j value becomes what? 2. 2 less than 5. Is it true or false? True. Right? Now again check the condition. A of min. Now can anyone tell me what is the min value now? Hmm. 1 or 0? 1. If you look at here in the previous row, we have 2 columns which are representing min. Initially it was 0, but later it modified as 1. So now min value is 1. A of 1 is what? 40. Is this 40 greater than A of j? J means 2. A of 2 is what? 30. 40 is greater than 30? Yes. Okay. If it is true, then again min will get updated. What min value will now? 2. Then j plus plus. That is 2 plus plus. Again, for the next time, j becomes 3. 3 greater than 5. Condition is true. Sorry. 1 second. 3 less than 5. Condition is true. Then again condition next. Now, A of min. What is min value? Min value is 2. A of 2 is what? 30. Is this 30 greater than A of j? What is j value? J value is what? Okay, let me write the j values here also. I just missed to write. Okay, j value. So A of j here 10. Is this 30 greater than 10? Yes or no? Yes. Again, min will get updated as 3 plus plus, right? Then next time j becomes 4. 4 less than 5, condition is still true, correct? Now a of min is what? Min value is 3. Min value is 3 here. Look at here, it is 3. A of 3 is 10. Is this 10 greater than the next element? Next element is what? 20. Is it true? False means, should I execute the min equal to j? No, I should not execute. So I will put a dash here. Correct? Then j plus plus, that is 4 plus plus. So this time j becomes 5. 5 less than 5. Condition now becomes false. That means inner for loop now got terminated. Correct? So this statement will not execute. This will not get executed. This also will not get executed. Next is if condition. What is the condition we have? Min not equal to I. What is min value? 3. 3 not equals to I. What is I value? 0. I value is 0. Right? Now, is this condition true or false? 3 is not equal to 0. Condition is true. If it is true, we need to swap. What to swap? Look at the code. A of I and A of min means the value which is pointed by I and the min. So here min is 3, I is 0. Means 50 and 10, these both we need to swap. Yes or no? Now, after this, I get here 10 and here I get 50. And all other remaining indices values, it remains same. Understood? Yes? Now, if you have gone through the previous videos, you will come to know here. Now, how many, this is the first iteration. This is the first iteration of outer for loop. After first iteration of outer for loop, how many times we have swapped the elements? Only one time. If you have gone through the previous videos, there you might have seen after end of one for loop or one iteration, we might have swapped more than one times. Right? That means that consumes little more time than this. Okay? Now, any doubts? No? Okay. Now, so this swapping we did, I write it as a S, then I plus plus, that is 0 plus plus. After that, we come back to the next iteration for I value as 1. Now I is 1. Condition 1 less than 5, that is true. Then again, min will get I value. So min will be now 1. Now, pay attention to this here. What has happened? Logically, if you look at here, before the first iteration got completed, is with the elements, right? What we try to do? We try to look at all these elements. Two numbers again we were comparing, but every time initially we compared these two in the inner for loop. Then we compared these two. Then we compared these two. Then we compared these two, and we figured out that somewhere among these, this is the smallest element, and successfully we could able to place the smallest element at first position. And after that we got these many numbers. Obviously all these numbers are what? Unsorted only. We will look into these in the next iteration. But at the end of first iteration of the first pass, we identify the smallest element and we place at the, and number of the swaps that have taken here is exactly 1. It was not more than 1, unlike in the previous techniques. Understood? Now let us proceed further with the next iterations. Now, in the next iteration again, j becomes I plus 1, that is 2, right? 2 less than 5. Condition is true. Now, A of min. What is the A of min value now? Now I will not go in detail. Now you need to tell me immediately. A of min means what? 40. 40 greater than 30. Is it true? Yes. Now, if it is true, what I should do? Min value has to be updated. Min gets what now? 2. Whatever j contains, it becomes 2. Then j plus plus 2 plus plus. Now j becomes 3. 3 less than 5. Condition is true. Tell me here. A of min is what? Min value is 2. A of 2 is 30. 30 greater than 50. Is it true? False. Now look at here. We're trying to figure out something where the first number is greater than second number. But here it is not. First number is smaller than the second number. Means we will not update our min value. So we will skip updating the min value here. The next j plus plus again. That is 3 plus plus. So the next time j becomes 4. 4 less than 5. Condition is true. Now A of min. What is min value now? 2. A of 2 is 30. Is this 30 greater than 20? True or false? True. Now we have found that left hand side of the number is greater than the right hand side of the number. Means in the array, we have something on the left side which is greater, and on the right side there is something smaller. Now we need to swap those particular numbers. For that, min we will update once. So now min will get what value? 4. Any doubts? If you have doubts, please ask. Okay. Right? Now, j plus plus, j becomes 4 plus plus, that is next time j becomes 5. 5 less than 5. Condition is so these lines will be skipped. Now we will come to min not equal to I. What is min value? 4. 4 not equal to 1. Condition is true. Means we need to swap. Right? So what we need to swap? The value at 4th index, value at 1st index. Value at 4th index is what? 20, and index 1 40. Now if you pay attention here, out of these 4 numbers, which was the smallest number? 20. That 20 we should place at the beginning here. So 20 will come here. Now here we get 20, and here we get 40. The remaining elements will remain as it is. Understood? Again, in the second pass, that is outer for loop of the iteration, with the remaining numbers, we try to pay attention, and the smallest number here was placed at the beginning here. So that 20 came. Right? That means at the second pass, first 2 numbers are properly placed. Now we need to focus upon the agree? Okay, now next. So we swapped here, then 1 plus plus. For the next iteration, it becomes 2. 2 less than 5. Condition is true. Minimum will become I value, that is 2. J will become next value of 2, that is 3. 3 less than 5. It is true. Okay, now tell me, which are the values here? Now here you have to look into these values, okay? Don't look the above one. You have to look at these values. 30 greater than 50. Yes or no? Now, is it true? False. Right? So skip this. Then increment j, that is 3 plus plus. Now j becomes 4. 4 less than 5. Condition is true. Now, minimum. Min value is what? Min value is what? 3. So A of 3 is 50. sorry, mean value is to itself, right? I'm sorry, mean value is to itself. So that is 30. 30 greater than J value is what? 4. At 4, what we have? Is it true? False. Skip this increment J. So J becomes 4 plus plus, that is 5. 5 less than 5. False. Skip this, skip this, skip this. Now, we did not make any changes. Every time this particular condition was turning to be a false. Why? Because among these, we try to look at the minimum value, and at the first occurrence, that is 30, 30 itself is the minimum value. Yes or no? Now look at this condition here. How nicely it has been put here. Min not equal to I. So what is min value? 2. Not equal to I. What is I value? 2. Now this condition becomes false. Understood? 2 not equal to 2 is false. Means we should not swap anything here. We should not swap anything. So what we get? Next time, the elements will remain as it is. The same elements are taken. There is no change in the value. Okay. For simplicity, what I will do, I will not write this also, so that you will better come to know how many times the elements got swapped. Okay. Now, here it becomes. Just a second. Okay. Now, next time J value becomes. Sorry, I think I should write here, right? One below, I have to write. Now becomes 3. 3 less than 5. Condition is true. Minimum value is 3. J value is 4. 4 less than 5. Condition is true. Now A of min is what? 50. Is this 50 greater than 40? Yes, it is true. Right? So we update the minimum value. So minimum is there, which is on the J side. So min will get value as 4. Understood? Yes. Then next, J plus plus 4 plus plus. So we get next value of J as 5. 5 less than 5. False. Skip this. Skip all these statements. Come to the condition here. Min not equal to I. What is min value? 4. Min value is 4. Look at here. We have modified the min value. 4 not equals to 3. Is it true or false? True. Right? At this iteration, we have come to a situation when right hand side of the element among these two now we get here also 30. Then next, here let me write it as a S, then 3 plus plus. For the next time, it becomes 4. 4 less than 5, condition is true. Min value becomes 4. J value becomes 5. 5 less than 5. Skip all the statements. Now, what is min value? 4. Min value is 4 only. 4 not equal to 4. Condition is false. Skip. That is no need to swap anything. Increment I. So 4 plus plus. Next time 4 becomes 5. 5 less than 5. Condition is false. Skip all the statements. Now look at here. Are they in ascending order? How many times we swapped? 3 times. Now, if you want to know, understand how the previous algorithm works, how it is better, take the same set of values. That is 50, 40, 30, 10, and 20. Take the same values and look at how many times we swap them. Definitely you will find more than these. That is 3 swaps. That's how each and every techniques have of its own advantages, either in the terms of space complexity, that is the amount of memory it requires to store the values, or in the terms of time complexity, that is the time taken by the computer to execute that particular program. Definitely each and every sorting techniques differs either in these two. That's why we are learning different techniques. This was the 4th one. And we already know why we require sorting techniques. Can anyone tell me why do we require sorting techniques? Why it is essential? Already some elements are there. Why do we need to bother to place them in a ascending order or a descending order? Arranging in a why? Better results. We can look into the values whenever we require. Suppose if I want to say at 5th position who has scored, suppose consider a student's results, right? Now you have the roll numbers starting from 101 to 201. From 201 to the last number we have 290, assume, right? Is it that the first student scores less marks and the last student roll number student scores the largest marks or highest marks? No, right? It can be in any order. Now we want to know who has scored first result. Then we want to place them in a proper order. So such things, such applications, we require the sorting techniques. Secondly, if the elements are sorted, then if I want to search something, we know 2 different techniques for the searching. What are those? Sequential search and binary search. Which one is effective? Binary search is effective. When we can use binary search? If the elements are in ascending order. So if we keep the numbers in ascending order, then we can search very easily by applying binary search technique. Understood?